Alright, I see live.
And then I should be able to send you an invite. All right, I'm sending you an invite, and you should be able just to hop on.
Oh, use the latest app. Use the latest version. Go back. Huh.
Does it say that?
Oh, I see. What's up, dude?
You can see me?
See me? Yeah. Nice beanie you got.
Perfect. So you're waving. Now I want to see, I want it to, there should be something on your screen saying if you want to join the, if you want to join the wave, press this button. I mean, if you want to join, so right now you're watching, but I want you to have your screen on as well. And there should be something that says, if you want to go live, press this button.
Alright. I go to Instagram, right?
Yes, but it should allow you to join this one. When you signed on. No?
No, I didn't have anything about going live.
It's saying you're unable to join. Oh man. All right. Let's see if we can do this really quickly. See if you can see if you go out and come back, will it allow you to do it? Because I can see you and it's saying you're unable to join.
Want me to just log out and come back in?
Yeah.
Shut everything down?
Hey folks, we're on a little early, just troubleshooting. Trying to give y'all what you came for.
See you, and I can hear you, but it sounds like you can't hear me.
I can't hear you, and I'm having issues getting into your live. I think that perhaps you have a camera on your phone, right?
I do, yeah.
So I'm thinking it might be an older version of IG. I don't want to stretch your day. I don't want to stretch your day out, but people are starting to come that want to hear you talk. Is there any way that you might be able to upgrade your version of IG?
Yeah, let me do that now.
Okay, cool. We still have time, and I'll just let people know to hold on. But yeah, folks are here and they want to see you. So thank you so much, Carlos.
Oh, snap.
How you doing, soldier?
What's up?
We are. I'm gonna go live with you right now because we're waiting on Carlos. He has to upgrade his version of IG, but he's gonna come back. Wait, so you're located in Cleveland?
Yeah, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
What part on the west side?
West side Cleveland, yeah.
Okay, yeah, my whole family's on the east side.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the east side. I mean, that's where I go for my care.
Okay, yeah.
The VA hospital.
We're tuning in.
until I had to leave of absence from my mental health.
Yeah, I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate your service.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited to learn. I mean, this is day 2, 3 for me. So I've been researching for years, just research articles. I read How to Change Your Mind.
Yeah.
But this is all new to me. I didn't know about the IG culture or just I don't know. I was in a hole. I was in a hole of darkness kind of, but I'm here for light. I'm here for light.
Yeah, man, we're here, and hopefully that's what this platform is here for. I'm blessed enough to be out here in California, where a lot of the people who are actually moving the industry forward are, and so they're my friends. We have access to them, so hopefully, these sorts of forums can give direct access to people like you who might not have a community that you can tap into. You can tap in with us.
Yeah, and I just hope to learn, for the future, or that we can get a movement here in Ohio. I know that there's a DN Columbus movement that I just found out about that I'm going to plug into. So, yeah,
man.
I appreciate, just the movement in general. I'm just so excited to learn everything, and my mind is blown by everything. I'm just tripping out. I've never had an experience of anything, or in general, and I just want to learn about health and lion's mane and just everything, and just everything in general.
So this is one of the guys who is perfect to connect with, perfect to talk to. I got your question written down in the spreadsheet, so I'm definitely going to ask your question of him. If you think of anything else, don't hesitate to use the comment box or the question box. But yeah, we're here for you and people like you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, so I'm gonna get off real quick just so I can make sure Carlos is doing his upgrade all right. But I'll be interacting with you regularly.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye, man.
Take care.
Hey, folks, everybody that has just logged on. Carlos is here. He's ready to go. He just needs to upgrade his IG real quick, and then we're going live. But Carlos has definitely been on. He said hi to everybody, and he's upgrading his IG live, and he'll be right back. So while you wait, everybody, if you look down next to your comment box, there is that arrow to the right of it. If you go ahead and hit that arrow and invite your friends or people in the Michael community, people who are sitting home bored that want some interesting things to watch, or people who just have an interest in plant medicine in general, this is going to be a really good talk for them and people like them. The person who's coming up is Carlos Plazola. He is the lead of Decriminalized Nature. He passed decriminalization right here in Oakland first, and then there is over 150 chapters nationally and internationally of decriminalized nature around the country and around the world. And so I figure what better guy to kind of kick this off with than the man who made it a little bit more legal for people to access the medicine and people to do the research on the plant medicine they want. So just give me a few more minutes. I know we like to be on time here, but you know how it is with this technology. So like I said, Carlos was on here 10 minutes early. We are upgrading his IG, and he should be back momentarily. So while we're here, if you have any questions, type them down in the comment box, type them down in the question box. It's the little square box with the question mark in it. Or you can go ahead and type and invite your friends who might find this interesting or helpful with that arrow box. If I were you, the way I do everybody, I'm hitting everybody. Anybody who's here, they getting an invite. Everybody's getting an invite. So I would be eternally grateful if y'all did the same. Welcome, Zinc Cheek. Welcome to you. Welcome. Glad to have you. We're waiting just to have Carlos upgrade his IG, and then we're gonna go live as soon as he gets back. So what I'm telling everybody else is, if you have questions, type them into the comment box, type them into the question box, or invite your people. Yesterday, my personal goal was to have 30
30 attendees. We had 31. Today, my personal goal is if we can get up to 40, I'm going to be happy, you know. I'm happy right now with the 5 we got on here, but if we can really rock this thing out together, I'm happy. Matter of fact, you know what? If we can get our attendees up to 40 by the time this thing is over and done with, 40 collectively at any given time, the 5 who are on here right now, the first 5 who are on here right now, we got giveaways. And so I'll get y'all some decriminalized nature pins. Those of you who are mycologists, I'll get you some sterile agar plates that you can work with. Nothing's going to come on them. They're just sterile plates. And if you're a little bit more local, I'll come see you personally and see what tickles your fancy. But we got giveaways. So we got pens, we got plates, and we got Zinc Cheek. If you in Cali, I got special giveaways. But if you're anywhere I got to ship it through, we got your pens or an agar plate for you to start your mycology experience. Matter of fact, if we get up to 50, any of the 5 that we have right here, I'm gonna go ahead and talk to the Hay Street Shroom Shop and get y'all a grow kit. So let's work on that while I wait for. Hello, 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 hello. Oh yeah, babe. Oh, Sac Town. Oh, we can do Sac. We can damn sure do Sac. Yes, sir. Welcome. If you just came, I told everybody else we're just on hold for 1 second, waiting on Carlos to upgrade his IG. He was on, but the messages were only going one way, and this guy is he's so interesting that we wouldn't want to miss out on some of this two-way action. So bear with us. Bear with me for a few more moments while we wait for Carlos to hop on. Welcome. We're just waiting right now for Carlos to upgrade his. Oh, here we go. All right, let's do it. Let's do it, folks. Oh, baby. So while we wait for Carlos to get on, the invitation has been sent. This is the moment. I'm very excited for this. I'm extremely excited. When he said yes to this interview, I lost my stuff. Here he comes. It's the man right there!
You have no idea how lucky I got, man. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Hey, Carlos, welcome. Teamwork makes the dream work. Thank you.
If only you understood just how miraculous it is that I'm with you here, given my technological incapability.
It's meant to be. The mushrooms will get you where you gotta be. Hey, thank you. So this is about to start, folks. Before we get started, you can see the excitement in my voice. Go to that arrow, and I need your healers, anybody who loves plant medicine, go ahead and use that arrow and invite them right now, because this man right here made it all possible for us to at least do this in Oakland without having to worry about the law. And so invite them, put your questions in the comment box or the question box, and we're about to start. So without further ado, this is the man right here. This is one of the people who helped found the movement Decrim Nature. This the group that last June passed a resolution here in Oakland allowing removing criminal sanctions from the research of plant medicine, from the consumption of plant medicine, from the cultivation of plant medicine. He has revolutionized everything we're doing right here in the country. Without further ado, Carlos, can you please just introduce yourself and say just a little bit about who you are?
Damn, right on. You got me excited, Reggie. So I feel good about what I did. Hey, my name is Carlos Plazola. I'm here at Oakland Live, coming at you, and friends with Reggie here. Back in December 2018, got together with a group of people, and we decided it was time to decriminalize
all entheogenic plants and fungi, and that happened after I had a pretty powerful mushroom journey that it was just life transformative. So, yeah, it's been a roller coaster, but a good one ever since. I'm happy to be here with you, brother.
Oh, I'm so excited that you said, yeah, man. I scared all my neighbors yesterday when you texted me back and said that you were down to take a few minutes. And so, for the people who are at home listening to this, I like to keep these interviews short and sweet. I like to respect everybody's time, both the talkers and the viewers. And so, Carlos, we're a little bit behind, but I'm still going to try to keep things pushing. We had a lot of questions come in. And so, without further ado, I'm just going to launch right into the questions. I want to start off with something light, and just know, while we're all being asked to quarantine right here, and grounded in this time when people can be anxious and kind of overwhelmed.
What was the question, brother? Sorry, the little thing was spinning there. I didn't quite hear.
Yeah, all good. In this time of quarantine and social distancing, when a lot of people are anxious and a lot of people are depressed, what are you doing and what's your family doing to stay sane and grounded during this period of time?
Yeah, well, I'm catching up with you about sleep. I think I'm doing a lot of rest.
Okay.
My business practice for long. Walk in nature as much as I can. I got some nice walks.
Yeah, and having having been to your home, I know that you have a nice outdoor space. It's not the worst place in the world to self distance in the quarantine. It's not bad at all. Personally, I'm taking my micro doses. I told James the other day I switched over from lion's mane to cordyceps just because cordyceps has that lung function quality to it, and so when we're dealing with this thing that could attack the lungs, I want to make sure my lungs are strong. So that's what we're doing over here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed a little bit of dimethyltryptamine, and that's helped to clear the mind a little bit. So
yeah,
a little dose of DMT now and again doesn't hurt either.
Now's the time to do it. You got the time. I've always said I don't know how you manage to make time for yourself. This dude is all over the place. Every time I look up, he's giving a talk out of town. And so, I'm glad that you got a chance to rest. I'm glad that you're actually getting a chance to center yourself and do. So I'll turn the corner and kind of launch into something that you already talked about a little bit. You've told us about who you are, as it relates to these plant medicines, but could you just give us a little bit of background about somebody Zinc Cheek is going to asking a question that relates to this one. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are outside of the entheogens and the plant mushrooms? Like where do you come from? Who is Carlos?
Right on, thank you. Yeah, my family's originally from Jalisco, Mexico, and my dad immigrated here when he was a young man, running from poverty in Mexico, and married my mother, who was Mexican from California. Raised us first here in California, and then we moved back and forth. So I'm sort of from a small town in Mexico called El Limon, and also from San Jose, California. Grew up, as many immigrants have, in a Chicano community with poverty, with alcohol, with struggle, and so a lot of my life was just struggling through the barrio, I suppose one might say, and but also just trying to find opportunity. And so went to got my bachelor's in. I've always had a deep connection with nature since I could remember. I think it was just my being raised in a very rural area of Mexico helped me connect with that. And so when it came time to go to school, I got my bachelor's in biology and anthropology. I got my master's in environmental science. I went and lived with the Ashwad for a while, just trying to explore life and really understand what this is all about, this experiment in consciousness we're all going through. And then from there, I just found my way into different careers, all of which were really designed to helped me create social change. My intention since I was very young was to figure out how I could help change my world, both for myself and the world around me, to create positive social change towards a direction of love and compassion. The knowledge, so to speak, to empower myself. And so the Decrim Nature movement, when that came along, it was pretty much a culmination of everything that I've ever organized for, from the ethnobotany of it that I studied in college, and to the anthropology, to the social justice organizing I'd done, the political organizing I'd done, even the finances and understanding capitalism that I worked in. So it's all the tools I've garnered up to this point have helped me really understand how to advance a movement, and that's what this is my love now. This is how I see myself spending the rest of my life, is helping shift the world in a direction where we live in collaboration and cooperation with nature, that we calm down, stop thinking that we're better than nature and that we're going to control it only to get ourselves in trouble, but rather approach nature as partners in this endeavor of creating our future.
And I mean, just a little bit of story that you just told right there. You did a fantastic job of being succinct with it. But like, I don't want to brush over any of this because there was a bunch of gems and all that kind of shape who you are as a person. One of the things that I heard you say in there is you had a bunch of different careers in this short time before you even got here. What I know about you is you've done politics, you've done development, and it sounds like you're a scientist too. And could you just talk about how all those things kind of help bring you to the point of where you're at right now?
Yeah. The biggest thing that I think that I've done right in my life is not getting attached to any particular career or any particular dogma. I've always seen my life as just passing through this beautiful planet, this experience called life, and really try to write chapters of my personal narrative. And so once I achieve a certain level of mastery of a particular career, then I'll get bored with it and move on. So my first career was in college, and getting my master's was in science, biology. In terms of the impact from a scientific perspective. My next career was in doing social organizing. So I worked with ACORN, I worked with Southwest Network for Economic and Environmental Justice. I did a lot of community organizing, just helping people mobilize for their communities. And then I got to the point where I developed sufficient skills. I wanted to do political organizing, so I worked on political campaigns. I ran a bunch of campaigns. I also worked in government as a council chief of staff, and learned how to use government for the greater good, so to speak. And then from there, I went into capitalism. I spent 13 years in capitalism as running a business as well as being a real estate developer. The intention there was really to understand and learn how to survive in a world where you either pull yourself up by your own bootstraps or you fail. You can't pass a new tax to make it in capitalism. You can't ask for a new grant. You either raise your own money and survive or you don't. So I needed to kind of hone myself in that arena. And so for the last 13 years, I've been doing that. And that within that context is when I started getting feeling a little bit like I'd mastered that sufficiently. I started getting bored with that. And also feeling a little bit empty, like what's this life all about? Not having a connection to the sacred. And that's when I had the mushroom journey that really launched me into a deep connection, reconnecting me with really what I experienced as a very, very young person, which is awe about life, right? The wonders of life. And realizing that we don't know most of anything in this existence. And so then that's when I decided to join this movement, help create the movement, and that's where my passion is now.
Oh, okay, so I'm not gonna make this entire thing about Decrim Nature, but just one more thing that just blew my mind about Decrim. Okay, we got so it blew my mind with the speed in which you all were able to organize the Oakland legislation. How fast it came from just being a concept and an idea to how quickly it actually was passed as a resolution with the Oakland City Council. Because you just talk about that, and then I'm going to turn the corner and get into some of these questions that the folks want to hear.
Yeah, right on. And I'll say you ain't seen nothing yet, brother. Is that okay? Right there?
Yeah, we good.
You ain't seen nothing yet. So we passed resolution in. Can you hear me okay now, Reggie? I know it shut off for a second.
I got you. You good?
Good, right on. So December we decided to start this movement. By February we'd organized officially as an organization. By March of 2019 we had a sponsor. By April we were in committee. By May, we were on the city council schedule for a hearing, and by June, we had it passed unanimously. So it happened fast. All of our heads were spinning. It was almost as if there was divine intervention happening that wanted this to happen. And then since then, we've spread into over 100 cities in the U.S. and Canada, Mexico, Chile, Ireland, UK. And so that's been in the last 8 months. And now we're working on an initiative to create a healing initiative, which is using plant-based medicines to heal communities, particularly the most vulnerable in our community. And the intention is that becomes a model that other cities can replicate in a way that enables plants and fungi to be used for healing those most impacted by trauma in our communities. I'll say that the forgotten people of capitalism, will start there, and then we'll expand out to anybody and everybody who wants access. But the key thing is that we're doing this within a city that's already. Then let's also create a healing initiative that enables the state of California and the city of Oakland to protect those who want to enter into a space to get healing that's much needed in a ceremonial group practice. That's what we're creating.
One of the things that I love the most about your orientation is when we have our discussions, and I'm not, I kind of do my own thing. Boom. Will, I'm gonna come back to that question. I got you locked in, and we're gonna come back to it. Thank you, Zinc Cheek. Thank you for your question. But one of the things that I hear often people ask. Oh no, one of the things that I like the most about your approach is that you're very mindful about protecting the people who have typically been left out of the equation and left behind with the legalization efforts because we didn't have the money for the lobbyist, or we're not well connected, or we don't know how to form the startups or whatever. And specifically, I mean, people Black and brown people, cannabis industry supported a lot of families. And then when legalization happened, it seems like, the guys who had a college education or the guys who took the weed industry and left, the people on the street who were just trying to feed their family day to day, left them high and dry with the penalty of jail still. And when I hear you talking about the way you're shaping the mushroom industry, you're very intentional about the people who have typically been left behind. Now, I know that you have in the works plans to build on the current decriminalization legislation with these principles at the forefront. I just kind of wanted to talk about how you envision this thing unwrapping so that it protects the people who oftentimes get left behind and not thought about.
Yeah, thank you for that. Land with clarity. We swim in a world of capitalism, and that is our reality. If we were fish, that's our water, right? Because we're in a Western world. And capitalism thrives. Those who win at capitalism thrive through the exploitation of, in general, not individual, but in general, the concept of capitalism is based on the exploitation of resources that includes human resources. And so how do we create a scenario where we allow ourselves emotionally, psychologically to exploit others? We have to create the other. We create the other through race or through ethnicity, through immigration status, through nation of origin. And so that allows us to exploit people. So typically in the U.S., those exploited people and in the world tend to be communities of color, tend to be impoverished communities, uneducated communities, because we create a narrative for ourselves that allows us to exploit certain people. And so anybody who is pushing initiatives from plant-based medicine or psychedelic healing, if we truly have had the kind of experiences that have made us connected to one another, then we have to recognize that even the poorest, lowest income among us, even the person who looks most differently than I do, who acts and talks most differently than I do, is still a sacred being, because that's what the plants teach us. If that's the case, then we have to pass initiatives that support the most vulnerable, or else we're bullshitting ourselves. So any initiative that starts from the high level of capitalism to serve those who are already benefiting from capitalism cannot be then tweaked to support the most vulnerable. And that's where cannabis legislation failed. So recognizing that, right, because you decolonize the mind and you're like, okay, we have to pass things that actually support the most vulnerable or will never serve the most vulnerable. That's where we're coming from. And so our initiative, and then builds from there, because if we can serve the most vulnerable, the unhoused, those who will be able to serve anybody. And that's basic.
I'm rolling with the basis. I'm definitely down with the basis. I've had these conversations with you on several occasions where I'm just concerned that when something passes, they're going to move everybody out the way and take. And people are out here. It's a lot of knowledge and time and expenses being invested in this on people on the ground right now, bringing medicine to folks. And I just don't want the people who took the risk to get pushed away when it's no longer risky. I'm going to take a break real quick. We have 3 questions that came in through the comment box. One through a gentleman I'm certain that at least know of. His name is Will Goss. He's with Decrim, California. He has a question regarding some of the decriminalization, regarding the question two questions ago about how you passed the decrim legislation. He asked, does that mean that psychedelic medicine is being sold to individuals?
No, not in Oakland, and that's not part of the legislation. We have a non-commodification component to our resolution. What we will sell under the Oakland Community Healing Initiative initially phase 1 will be nonprofit, and it will be non-commodified. In other words, we will probably raise money to implement and research the impacts when we implement certain healing practices within a community framework. And we'll have Stanford and CIS and other institutions research it in cooperation with community leaders to just prove that it can be successful. The next phase will be where we're going to try to build resources for community, because the last part of healing is creating a sustainable livelihood for people who otherwise wouldn't have the ability to get a job, to get housing, to get food. And so how can we sell services, the healing ceremony itself, in a way where others can come participate in this process to benefit from this process. So that's the intention. So we'd be selling services under a nonprofit rubric initially, eventually perhaps transforming into a for-profit rubric or through some co-op model. We're still exploring all of that, but at this point we're not selling psychedelics here in Oakland.
Okay. Well, I think that looking at your comments, it looks like I asked the question wrong. And so if you want to just type into the question box a complete sentence, I will ask that question. I'm going to go on to, there's a few other questions I'm going to ask that came through that I promised I would ask. Give me 1 second. Emily, she works with a extraction company. She says, what's your mantra for having those difficult conversations for those who aren't mindful but are powerful? So I think that she's asking, how do you have those enlightened conversations about marginalized communities to people who have the power, but they might not be so enlightened?
Yeah, well, first of all, I do it with compassion, and so my first intention is to appeal to people's better sides so that they can hear it. The second thing is that I do listen so I can understand where they're coming from, their point of reference, and then from there, it's really just having a conversation of trying to humanize the situation. And if I can get there, then we can have a conversation. But if I'm unable to get past the whole process of othering, that seeing people as other than their own community, then I probably can't get there. For me, it's time for me to move on and have a conversation with someone who might be part of the solution.
Thank you for that, and thank you, Emily, for your question. There's a guy named or a person named Joseph who asks, how do we ensure entheogens don't go down the same path as cannabis regarding Black and brown folks staying incarcerated it gets legalized, are people just going to sit in jail, or are we looking at that at all?
So expungement and removing people from incarceration is not part of our framework, only because we're not doing anything statewide, right? Ours is very local to Oakland. We certainly support that, and we support efforts that do that. But really, ours is about healing communities that otherwise have experienced the dark side of the war on drugs and the war on poverty, the war on race in America. So we're going at that directly head on. And so I think the question was asked earlier about how do we ensure this doesn't get co-opted by venture capital, for example. In June, we passed Decrim Nature. By end of year, we had expanded into over 100 cities. Now we're creating a model. Our intention is to go so fast and push this into so many different areas, leading by people, that it can be done. That if at least we'll do our part to try to hurry up and push this before it gets co-opted, and hopefully we succeed. But there's no guarantee, obviously.
Thank you for that, Carlos. There's two other questions. I'm going to come back because I think I understand Will's question a little bit better, but there's one more question that I promised I was going to ask. What was the magic ingredient from Zinc Cheek? They asked, what was the magic ingredient to convince people with resistance to support decriminalization? So I think, go ahead.
The science. I mean, I want to give thanks to folks like Bob Jesse and Roland Griffith and John Hopkins and UCLA and New York University and all the different institutions that have done the research and created the studies that were critical for us in getting passage. So first of all was the science, because we live in a Western world, and part of the Western world is to do scientific reductionism and rely on data points. So we pushed that, and it opened trees that have proven time and time again that this heals. And so we also brought that component in. So you take the ancient, the sacred, the ancient wisdom, you put it with the science, and it's pretty damn hard to argue against that.
So I got a question that came in actually specifically about your connection to the indigenous community, but I'm going to circle back one last time. And one more question came in from Will, where he says, do you support Decrim California and their initiative? And I'm going to kind of give a little bit of to people who might not understand. There's two decriminalization groups here in California. You have Decrim Nature and you have Decrim California. They are not the same. Leadership is different, and I think philosophy is a little bit different. And both of those folks are on this call right now. And so just to ask Carlos, because one of the folks from Decrim asked, do you support Decrim California, and what are your thoughts on their statewide decriminalization initiative?
Yeah, our particular focus is, and this has been from the very beginning when I sat with Ryan Munaver before he actually even considered putting this, he was considering putting on the ballot, hadn't written the language. He and I and the rest of the folks from Decrim Nature sat in a pub and we discussed how this was going to roll out. And even back then, we were advocates for the local model, because at the local level, we think that it gives leaders the ability to create frameworks of safe use, ceremony, of education, of emerging into this relationship with plant work that can become very sophisticated very quickly if you're doing high doses. And so our model really is local based. We're not opposed to anything. We're not opposing Decrim California. We're not opposing Sci 2020. We're not opposing any initiative out there. We're advancing our own model. I really wish Decrim California the best of luck. We're here to push our model, though.
And by the way, for the folks who are interested, I have put out several invites to Decrim California. I had a yes for Monday, but scheduling conflicts had fallen through. So let them know that you want to see the leadership for Decrim California on here too. So hopefully, we can get you people the information that you want. Let me take a look. Oh, okay. So a scientist named Ian asked, what connections or support does Decrim Nature have with the local indigenous communities?
So we reached out to our local indigenous community, the Ohlone community from Oakland and in the Bay Area. They don't really have an interest doing. So in that way, we've reached out to them, but they've not expressed particular interest. In the broader indigenous community, we are working with various tribes and individuals in indigenous communities. We're also working with Native American Church to formalize some language about not including peyote in resolutions, which is important to them, so that we don't deplete peyote resources. And so we are working with various indigenous communities, but the local community has not particularly expressed an interest in our decriminalization effort.
Okay, thank you. As we're coming past the moment, I'm just going to ask you for 3 more minutes of your time, Carlos, and then we'll get up out of here.
Okay.
There is a veteran who was very supportive. He's on the line right now. I believe his name is Mike or Michael. If I'm mistaken, please correct me. But nonetheless, a veteran asked, are there any support groups for veterans revolving around entheogens that you might be able to direct him to?
There are actually. If you email me, I'll put.
No, you're good.
I'll connect you with them.
All right. So
3.
So feel free to reach out to get that information about veterans through Carlos. He's going to throw his information right in the box. He is responsive. I can tell you that for a fact. How do you we're going through my questions real quick. Want to get them? Okay. One question that came in from a psychotherapist named Jim. Jim is asking, have entheogens helped you deal with personal trauma that's in your past?
Yeah, that's the $1 million question, right? That's why I'm doing all of this. When I was a young man, I got punched in the head a lot. We'll just put it that way. And 35-year quest.
You're sticking more one tight, Carlos.
And the 35-year quest to heal from that, when the people you love most and take action, it can really fuck with your head a lot. So, excuse my language. Anyways, so I had the mushroom journey. Really, what it did is it helped me understand things, that it was not me, that we're all just struggling through this life, and we're all a work in progress, and some infinite evolution of consciousness. Helped me put things into perspective and come into the world from a place of forgiveness and love and compassion. So absolutely it helped me. First, I was in awe of the power of mushrooms and of entheogens, but after that I became a little bit pissed off that they were illegal, because I have a lot of people in my own family who could have healed from these are now dead, who could have healed from these are now in prison, or who could have healed from these and are currently killing themselves by one way or another. So this is really what my quest is about, is to enable these to become part of our healing arsenal.
Okay. I want to thank you for your work. And I want to thank you, quite frankly, for just being an open, accessible human being. A person in your position. I remember when I walked up to you the very first time. You didn't know me. You didn't know me from a can of paint, and you put me in play. And you know what? Quite frankly, it could possibly be because of you and your support that I'm able to move around in the Myco community the way that I have. And so you supported me. You support the community, and so I want to thank you for your time for that. And lastly, before we get out of here, I want to tell the people to follow Carlos. His follow his IG right here if you want to stay up to date with what's happening on him or his location that he calls the Haven. There's a lot of good information going on at the Haven, a lot of teaching, a lot of healing, and a lot of kind of ancillary things that you can get into that just kind of lend to healing and lend to mindfulness. And so follow Carlos, check him out at the Haven, use his email. He's a normal person. Follow me. We're going to be right back here tomorrow, 1 p.m. with the Mushroom Queen. She's going to be an excellent interview. It's going to be my first international interview, so come for that. And Carlos, do you want to send these people off with a word? You got anything to give them?
Yeah, right on. I would love your help. Join us at www.decriminalize.
Hey, Carlos, give it to us again. Give it to us again. You froze.
Yeah, decriminalizenature.org, and follow us on Facebook, Decriminalize Nature, and also we're the only Decriminalize Nature on Instagram. Others are Decriminalize Nature, say Denver, Decriminalize Nature, Portland. So there's a bunch of Decriminalize Natures. Ours is Decriminalize Nature. That's a national group. So would love it if you followed us as an organization, supported us, and started a chapter in your own.
So much again, Carlos. Hey, thank you everybody for coming to join us. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. See you, Carlos. Thank you.
Brother. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Hey, thank y'all again. I really appreciate y'all time. Go ahead and reach out to, here, I'm going to give y'all a specific person to reach out to. There's a dude named Evergreen Thumbs. I need y'all to DM Evergreen Thumbs and tell him that you want to see him. You want to see him on the interview. I'm trying to get him on here. I want him on here. He's right here in Oakland. We've been missing each other out here in the street, but I really want to talk to them and talk and see what Decrim California is doing, see what they're talking about, see how y'all can support what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's not how we get there, it's the fact that we get there. So reach out to Evergreen Thumbs and tell Evergreen Thumbs you want to see him. You want to see him on the interview with Oakland Hyphae. Until tomorrow, I will holler at y'all. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Ancillary